Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video. We're talking about Wix Studio today, and we're going to talk about building our first section. So in the first video, we talked about the editor and what is here, what all of the buttons do, how they interact with the editor interface, your blank slate. Today, we're going to be building our first section. So when building sections, we're going to have this be our default. Now we're going to be able to split these up into cells. But we're going to start with containers today. So to build a basic hero section, what you would want to do is you would want to start with a container. And you don't have to start with a container, but most likely you will. And I'm actually going to go to quick add and I'm just going to click on container. Now you can drag and drop this where you want it. But let's open up our inspector panel here. And we're going to have our X and Y axis. So this is where this is going to be positioned in our section. Now we're going to have these be our sections, which is the parent to whatever is in it. So this container box is the child of this section here. And then if you look at this blue little box here, we're going to see the parent to child. And if we click on this container, we'll see that it's underneath this section. So it'll note there. And also, if you're trying to find something, if you want to maybe reorganize the page, let's say, for example, you add a new section to the editor. So now you have two sections. You have your hero section, which would be the first section on the page. And then you have your second section here. You can go into your layers panel, and then you can see where these items are. So we're going to have our header, which is highlighted in green. We're going to have our first section or our hero section. And we can actually name these two if you want to keep these nice and clean. And then we're going to have the second section and then the footer, which is below that. And now with our first section here, our hero section, if we click this drop down, we're going to see the container and being in the hero section. So in other words, it's the child of the parent, which is the hero. So you drop in the container, right? So we've started with a container on our canvas. Now we can move this around. We can make it bigger. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put an image and we're going to put some text in it. And I'm just going to center align that. You can also come down here and click align to center if you want to center something quickly, and you can also center it using your alignment buttons up top. So we're going to quick add a image, and we're just going to position this off to the side here. We're going to make it a little big. We're going to horizontally align it, and then we're going to add a title. So we're going to add text right here. We're going to put in what we want. Building great sites, and that is what we aim to do here. So we're just going to position that where we want. Now we could add other elements to this. We can build it up, obviously make it look a lot more pretty, but for example purposes, we're just going to keep this as such. Now, whenever you add elements to a section, it's going to default to scale proportionally. Now, this is the very important base layer that is important to understand because it's really going to affect how you design your sites and how it is actually responsive, because the whole reason we're using Studio is for the responsiveness of it, right? We aren't using Editor because it's not fully responsive. We only have that mobile button at the top, and we can adjust for mobile specifically. Now, when we click on these right here, so we're going to have the desktop, tablet, and mobile, it's going to show us what it's looking like. So scale proportionately is going to scale the site down proportionally to the screen size. Now, it defaults to scale proportionally because it's a good starting point for the design, for the responsiveness of it. We can change it. We have relative width, fixed, hug height, and stretch, and these may change based on what the items are that we're talking about here. So we have relative width, and you can see how this is going to change when we switch through the different screen sizes. And then we have fixed, which is probably not the best choice for this whole section, or the container at least. We have hug height, and then we're going to have stretch. So my recommendation is to pick the best one that suits the design, but you can choose what looks best here. Now, as we move this around as such, we're going to back out of that actually, because I want to show you. We don't want stretch there. We're going to stick to scale proportionately. And we're just going to adjust this. Now, once you have your elements in the container, you can start to design it. You can change the images. You can change the color. So let's just swap out an image here. We're going to put that there. We're going to change the background. Maybe we'll do a nice blue. That's not really a nice blue. Maybe we'll do this gray. We'll make the text white. Now, once you have desktop laid out, let's say that this is our award-winning site, which it is not close to being, but let's just say it is for example purposes. All right. So if we go down to tablet, this looks okay, but maybe we want to adjust the image and adjust this, just for tablet. Now, how this works is it cascades down. So if you make an adjustment on tablet, it's going to cascade down to mobile. If you make an adjustment on mobile, it will not affect tablet or desktop unless you tell Studio to do so. But changes that you make are going to cascade down and they do not go the other way by default. So for example, mobile does not look fantastic right now. So what we can do is we can take this whole section here and we can make it a little bigger. We can change this image, make it a little taller. And then this text, if we go back and check tablet, that looks okay, that looks okay, but text here is a little bit too small. So we can bump that up, make that text a little bigger. And then we have essentially the same design, which looks better for mobile on mobile. And that did not change what it looks like on desktop and tablet. And from here, you can make as many adjustments and changes and, add effects to it as you want. We're going to talk more in depth of the little intricate stuff that you can do with these sections in future videos. But this should give you a nice idea of how this works. Now, the best way to go about this, in my opinion, and how I've been using Studio is to create your desktop version first, design it down. Usually I will start with scale proportionally and then I will change as need be. If something needs to, say, for example, if we add a button to this, a button I would probably have be fixed, because the button, if you design it in a not a massive desktop way, if it's not huge on desktop, then you can keep that button size down right to mobile. And it just makes it easy where you can then select your button and then have that be fixed. And if you click fixed within one of these things, it's going to be fixed throughout the breakpoints, except for mobile where we have changed to scale proportionally there, but you can also adjust as well. Hopefully this helps. A lot more to come in future videos. We'll get you started with sections, and then we'll start to talk about adjusting for breakpoints, adjusting text, adjusting images, spacing, docking, margins, all kinds of good stuff to come in future videos. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.